A warm welcome to all of you on this fantastic Sunday evening. We have amidst us a person that we hold in very high regard, a person who has seen Bengaluru inside out from all different perspectives. We have with us, let me take the pleasure and privilege of introducing Mr. K. Jairaj. His CV, if we were to start getting into details, will probably take the full hour. So I'll try to keep it as short as possible for most of you. He is already a very well-known face. In fact, it's a very well-known face to all of us, but quickly a background to all he has done so that the context is very well understood. He's from the 1976 batch of IAS. The common cliche goes, but which holds good in this case is, my age is his experience. And that's really what we are talking of here. A person who brings about a huge amount of experience to the table. And specifically with regard to Bengaluru, he's had a great experience in multiple areas, which he's bringing to bear. In his last assignment, he retired as the Additional Chief Secretary of the Government of Karnataka in the Energy Department. But other than that, he's pretty much held positions in all the major civic agencies and government organizations that impact Bengaluru. He's been the chairman of BESCOM. He's been the managing director of Karnataka Power Corporation Limited. He's been the managing director of the Karnataka State Road Transport Corporation. Very interestingly, he was also the person who established the Bangalore International Airport, and he was the managing director of that. He was the principal secretary to the chief minister. Specifically from BNP's perspective, for us, or something which is very close to what we are doing, BBMP. He was the commissioner of BBMP also for 2 terms. Of course, it was called Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike at that time, or Bengaluru Municipal Corporation at that time, which is morphed into BBMP. And his experience is not all in the government sector and in civic agencies. He's been taking an active part in a lot of private initiatives as well. So, for example, as I said, he was the managing director of Bangalore International Airport after having established it as well. It's one of the first greenfield airports in India on the public-private partnership mode. So he was one of the pioneers and leaders in getting that in place. Subsequently, in one of the people who has been spearheading the Bangalore Agenda Task Force, and even more importantly, he's also one of the founding members of BPAC, Bengaluru Political Action Committee, which has actually been grooming a lot of civic leaders to take part in the governance of the city. In fact, I would say that BNP is probably, I would say, the political avatar of, let's say, what BPAC have been. So BPAC is, of course, apolitical. They are trying to groom civic leaders. They're trying to promote governance in the city. But ultimately, BNP carries similar vision and ideology, and we want to bring about governance to Bengaluru. And for us today, there is no better person than Mr. Jairaj to talk about what ails Bengaluru, what is wrong with BBMP, what is it that we all can do to bring about a change to the city of Bengaluru, what is it that we can do to bring about governance to Bengaluru. So I think that's more than a background that that we can talk about. We can keep going on and on. But Mr. Jairaj, we are really happy and privileged to have you here in this session. Over to you. Give any introductory remarks about your experience, your stint as not just the BMP commissioner, but in your other roles, and any thoughts about governance in Bengaluru. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Srikanth. Ellargu namaskara. Ivattu Srikanth Mulka, Bangalore Navnirman Party inda ee ಒಂದು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಕೂಟ ಏರ್ಪಾಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಭಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. I'm very grateful to Srikanth for having organized this, and I would like to greet all my dear friends who've joined today. I don't know who you are, but I'm sure that all of us have one thing in common, which is that we share a great love for our city, and we want the city to improve on all fronts. And we also want to have a governance that we truly deserve. and that is why we are all present today. ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಹಾನಗರ ಪಾಲಿಕೆಯನ್ನ 20 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಎಸ್.ಎಂ. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅವರು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿರುವಾಗ, ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅವರು ಮೇಯರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಾಗ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಬಾರಿ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದು ಮೊದಲನೇ ಬಾರಿ. ಎರಡನೇ ಬಾರಿ 7-8 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾಗಿರುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಆವಾಗ್ಲೇ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾಯಿಂದ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದು ಈ ಕೋalition ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಬಾರಿ ಮಹಾನಗರ ಪಾಲಿಕೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ಆ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾನಗರ ಪಾಲಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಬೃಹತ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಹಾನಗರ ಪಾಲಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ದೊರಕಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ ತರ ನಂದು ಆ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಬಹಳ ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಇದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿನೇ ದಿನೇ ನಮ್ ನಗರ ಈ ತರ ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನೋಡಿ ನಂಗೆ ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ಬಹಳ ಬಹಳ ವ್ಯಥೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅನೇಕ ಜನ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಏನಿದಕ್ ಕಾರಣ, ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ತರ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಡಿನೈಡ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ಡಿನರಿ. ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 2000 ಇಸ್ವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 100 ವಾರ್ಡ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಮತ್ತೆ 55 ಲಕ್ಷ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆನ್ ಅನ್ ಆವರೇಜ್ 55 lakhs ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ಇವತ್ತು 198 ವಾರ್ಡ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ Bangalore's population is anywhere about 1 crore and 20 lakhs. Give and take the normal migration patterns, it's much more than that. So the city has grown exponentially. And along with the growth of that city, civic services have not been able to keep pace with the growth of the city. Now, that is the core of the problem. But that doesn't address the main issue. The main issue is that the Bangalore Mahanagar Palike or Brihat Bangalore Mahanagar Palike is not a functioning kind of organization to take care of the city. I'm not going to blame any particular group of people and say they are responsible, we are responsible. I am talking only systemically, and I want you to draw your references from that. For instance, would you be surprised to learn that in the Bangalore Mahanagar Palike, we do not have a well-organized, competent, trained workforce to take care of the issues of the city. We have people on deputation from the government, from the engineering department, etc. We have people coming in. But if you take the requirements of the city as such in terms of a proper health establishment, an engineering establishment, a revenue establishment, we just lack it totally. Idana management term alli capacity anta heltivi. If there is no capacity, there can be no execution. And a lot of ad hocism comes into play. So even if before we go to the other issues, this is one major point that I want to mention as an administrator. This stared in my face when I came to the BMP, that we do not have a functioning, capable workforce. Of course, there are individuals who may work hard. There are people who want to bring about a difference. It's not only the commissioner or XYZ. By and large, we may have people in BMP in the workforce who want to really achieve a good name. But there is an overall constraint in terms of capacity. I'm being very simple about it, but I want you to understand what I have to say, because I would like to use this for questions. That's one. The second is, as I saw, there are no standards for work. As I am seeing now, let's say in the private sector, every item of work has standard operating procedures and standards to fulfill, what we call specifications. These are largely lacking in BBMP. Maybe here and there may be an attempt made to systematize things. But overall, there is a large element of ad hocism in whatever work goes on, because BBMP is at heart a maintenance organization. It's not a proactive implementing organization. It reacts to crisis. It reacts to sudden flare-ups, changes, but it doesn't plan. There is no planning mechanism in BBMP that can take care of things. And when I first came to BMP, I was shocked to see that, there are no estimates for works and people take up works on ad hoc basis at the behest of various elements. So when you start putting all these systems and processes into place, there is a lot of reaction, and that reaction effectively stops these things from happening. So standards, the absence of standards is an important point in BMP. Third, to all my friends who are gathered here today, there is an issue of financial resources. If you are talking of an organization that has to cater to more than 1 crore of people, what are the sources of revenue? The only elastic source of revenue for BBMP today is property tax. So I was looking at the BBMP budget 2 days ago in the papers. Would it surprise you to know, my friends, that the major source of revenue for BBMP, which is the property tax, Asti Terige, in 2000, when I first came to BMP, it was 95 crores for the whole year. 95 koti. Now it is about 3,000 crores, which may be also about a third of what should be the actual potential. Because from 95 crores going to 3,000 crores is of course a big deal. And much of it is because of the self-assessment scheme that we introduced in that year, thanks to the support of the government and the then mayor and others. But I'm saying, apart from the property tax, there are no other elastic sources of revenue for BBMP. It has to depend on the government of Karnataka and now the government of India for funding. Earlier, much earlier, there was this entry tax, which was an elastic source of revenue. Even that was abolished in 1979-80, and the replacement for entry tax, which was called octroi, that amount is a meager amount compared to what octroi could have brought in for a city corporation. Now, I can belabor this point. I can speak at length to say that there is an issue about finances, but I want to explain to you, I want to bring home quickly the point that the financial resources of BMP are always constrained in relation to the requirement. Of course, execution of work is a major point. I began with that. Execution itself is faulty, but this kind of financial resources are a major factor that stares in the face. Now, I come to two other issues because there is so much to talk about and I don't want to hog all the time. I want you to respond, and Srikanth, there's a lot of questions. I want to say that one of the things which the common person is very concerned about is the seeming lack of accountability. Accountability from all within BBMP. Now, this is an important issue. And why there is no accountability, to my mind, is because there are no standards. There is no system of review. There is no evaluation of work done. And when this process of evaluation, review, standards do not work, they do not apply, accountability takes a leap outside. And the absence of accountability leads to shoddy work, it leads to incomplete work, it leads to work without specification, it leads to leakages, and it leads to all the other things that we are seeing around us. And finally, the major issue to my mind is leadership. Today, we have elected corporators. We also have administrative leaders. Now, my dear friends, I don't want to paint a very broad brush. I have seen excellent corporators in my time in BMP and BBMP. Hardworking, capable, competent people who work for the good of the city. I have also seen excellent officers in the city who have worked hard and who really try to bring a difference. So it's not that everybody there has to be tarred with the same brush. But today the reason is that those who are elected as corporators, the majority of them, they come from special interests. They come with very little understanding of what it is required to be a leader. what is it required to exercise the leadership. And therefore, when there is an absence of leadership, you have the problems that you see around us. I'll be happy to expand on this. There are so many people, and I don't want to take more time. I just wanted to make some introductory remarks. And now, over to Srikanth. Srikanth, please carry on.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a great introduction that you did. I think it sort of nicely sets the context to how things have evolved over the last 15 to 20 years. Yes, part of the problem has been because of the significant expansion that seems to have happened. But as you rightly said towards the end, the other part of the problem is the total lack of leadership or deterioration in the quality of the leadership that has happened over the last 15, 20 years. Before I get into a few questions, in terms of the protocols, request that everybody remains on mute so that it doesn't become a disturbance to others. There are also a couple of people who seem to have their webcams on. We request people to switch off their webcams because it creates a little bit of a bandwidth issue for us. So please mute your webcams as well. The other thing is, I'm sure a lot of you will be having questions. I'm the moderator of the session. I suggest that any questions that you have, please post it on the chat window. We will take those questions and we'll pose it to Mr. Jairaj over the next half hour, 40 minutes that we have for the session. So the format is, we as BNP, we already have a few questions for Mr. Jairaj, which we'll be posing right now. So we'll take a few minutes for him to directly address those questions. Then we'll open it out for a general Q&A for the others, where we would appreciate if you can post your query on the chat window. Then we'll take it up and post it to him for Mr. Jairaj to directly respond to that. So you talked about this dearth of leadership and the deterioration in the quality of the leadership, and we can't agree with you any 1% more than that. We see that most of the corporators, if not all of them, are thoroughly incompetent. They're subservient to the MLAs. And for us, what pains us a lot is women have been at the forefront of leading change in the city, various active citizen, part of citizen groups. But pretty much all the 99 women corporators are dummies. The show is run by their respective husbands or the brothers or the fathers, which we believe is a gross insult to all the women of the country. Most of the money that's spent on projects is either siphoned off or spent on needless projects, or even where projects are undertaken, they're undertaken with such poor quality that they pretty much deteriorate within a year or so. So Bengaluru has been deteriorating every passing year right in front of our eyes. Why is there no interest on the part of any of the parties to change the status quo? Because ultimately Bengaluru is a city that belongs to all of us. They're also part of this. Why are they not showing any inclination to change the status quo? It'll be good to hear from you on your perspectives on that.
Thank you, Srikanth. I want to first begin by saying that, there have been exceptionally good women leaders also in BNP. I can think of several people whom I've had the privilege of working with. One was Mrs. Prema Karyappa. The other was Mrs. Gowda, who was also the mayor of Bangalore. What has happened is, and we try to correct this through BCLIP, which is, trying to train men and women, young men and women into civic leadership, looking at the laws, looking at finances, looking at various issues and how to build a ward level organization. I think, rather than curse the past and say what went wrong, now is the time when civic bodies, groups like yours and others must say, okay, we want to bring a difference. There is this reservation for women. Let us ensure that the best of them contest the elections and get in. Because I can assure you that, there have been very good corporators among women also, but the system doesn't allow them to function because the system in many ways is also a dense kind of system in which individuals, however good they are not able to make a difference. But where they have really struggled and brought about a change, you can see what's happening. So my answer to your question is that today, Srikanth, there must be social capital in Bangalore. I didn't mention that in my introductory remarks. We only point to others, but we have to look at ourselves also. Why is there so much of public apathy in Bangalore? The voting percentage is only 40 or 45%, something like that. Why can't the average Bangalorean go out and vote? And if you vote and encourage the right candidates to contest the election, you will definitely get the leadership you deserve. So I see it as a systemic issue, and I hope that with people like you and all the others pitching in, all the resident welfare associations coming together, the other civic groups taking a keen interest in Bangalore. Bangalore is for all. If that is the attitude we have, I think that we can make a difference in the short term. And as you say, the quality of leadership can also improve dramatically in the next couple of years.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we fully respect what you say, and that's pretty much the ethos with which we have started. We have been very, very clearly articulating that you can keep pointing a finger at all of these corporators and politicians who've not been doing their job, but then there are 4 other fingers or 3 other fingers that are pointing at oneself. So fully take your point that governance begins with us. We have to exercise our franchise and our duty to make sure that we go out and vote during the elections, specifically during the BBMP elections, which, as you rightly said, has seen voting percentages hardly in the range of 40-45%. And in fact, in some wards, it's been less than 40% as well. So that's something that we have to change. And we give you our commitment that we've been running campaigns over the last few years to get more and more people to come out and vote. But absolutely, I think that itself is a starting point where the quality of leadership can definitely change. The other question that wanted to pose to you is, we had the 74th Amendment to the Constitution, which was passed in the early 90s. Clearly, as per the 74th Amendment, the Article 243, power has to be devolved to the local bodies. Then we have had these ideas, or rather organizations called as Metropolitan Planning Commission, that should have been instituted. Even the Supreme Court has directed the Karnataka government to do it. But when we look at all these aspects, devolution of powers, ward committees, corporators being empowered, Metropolitan Planning Commission to be formed, we are still seeing that in letter, and even where there's an implementation, it's more an eyewash that's happening. Nothing happens in spirit. What is the remedy for this? Is there something that we as people can do? Because a lot of this involves political will, a lot of this involves policy change, etc. at the state level. What is the reason for why this has not happened despite 25 years or more than 25 years having elapsed, but nothing is seen on the ground?
That's a very good question, Srikanth. And I would like to begin by saying that now the citizens of Bangalore must unitedly work towards repositioning BBMP vis-a-vis the state government. As of now, the BBMP and the other civic bodies are inferior organizations compared to the state government. So it is the state government that determines what happens to the BBMP, what the size of the BBMP is. Should it be split up or not? Should there be adequate decentralization of powers or not? And the BBMP is only the recipient of the state action, some kind of a client, patron-client relationship. To my mind, the BBMP should become independent, quote unquote. And that independence must result in financial autonomy. It must result in administrative autonomy. And most important, Srikanth, it must result in financial well-being for the BBMP. The Bangalore generates more than 40% of the state's resources by one account. How much is the city civic body getting in relation to the contribution of its citizens? If you make an assessment like that, it is very paltry. So to address the issue of the city requirements, we must think of how we can reposition the BBMP vis-a-vis the state governments. This is a problem not just in Karnataka, it's in other states also. But it seems to me that if you compare BMP with, let's say, Bombay Municipal Corporation, Bombay Municipal Corporation has got its act better because it has a share of more resources, it has more elastic sources of revenue, and somehow, it seems to be performing better than other civic bodies. So I would like to respond by saying that while the issues you have raised are very relevant, repositioning the civic body is a dire need today.
Great. Totally agree with you on that. I think the bane of the city has been that pretty much BBMP and the corporators have been subservient to the state government and the MLAs and the ruling dispensation at the state. So I guess that has to fundamentally change. And again, as you rightly said, we the citizens, we probably have to be at the forefront of trying to bring about that change, put pressure on the system, both from the outside and the inside. That's something that we definitely will look to. The other major point that that we had was around the accounts, and it's very topical because we just had BBMP release its budget earlier in this week through a video conference, but well after the financial year has already started. Now, this is something that we are not able to understand. The budgeting process and subsequently the accounting are very, very important and integral part of any organization's governance. But what we are seeing consistently year after year in BBMP is the budget gets announced in the middle of the year after the year has started. At the end of the year, after the year has been completed, they revise the budget estimates. To me, it seems like a world record. I can't think of any other organization which revises its budget estimate after the year has gotten over. Then there is no transparency in any of the projects. There is no internal audit which has been done for the last 12 years. The whole accounting process gets done anywhere between 1.5 to 2 to 3 years after the year has been completed. So pretty much all this budgets, accounting, finances, it's all mired in misgovernance, opacity, and pretty much no accountability. Is it being deliberately kept that way? In fact, we had a session last week with Sapna Karim of Janagraha. One of the few municipal corporations that have still not come under the Karnataka municipal accounting and budgeting rules is BBMP. Is there any way by which we can force accountability and transparency in the BBMP budget and accounts? Is that possible? If so, are there any thoughts that you have?
Yes, I think, I'd like to first begin by saying that an enlightened leadership can certainly improve on the fiscal cycle in BBMP. And many of the problems that you raised, which may be valid, I don't have familiarity now. I've been out of the BBMP for more than 10 years. Many of the problems that you have raised, namely, lack of audit, lack of concurrent audit, delayed budget, those can be resolved in good time if you have a good political leadership. See, in most organizations that I see today, there is this audit committee and the finance committee, let's say, of the board, and basically their task is to see that the fiscal cycle is well done. I would like to see a similar mechanism in BBMP where, they are able to track this, ensure that the budget is presented ahead of the financial year, have a midterm review of the budget, see what the resources are and what the expenditures are, map them correctly, and give citizens at the end of the year a proper scorecard on how much was envisaged, what is spent, what is the balance. I think, Srikanth, these are all very well-known housekeeping and financial works which can be resolved, and now we can use the benefit of information technology also. But the key requirement apart from leadership is that you must have trained people doing this job. And again, it comes back to my question of capacity. I don't know what the finance function in BBMP presently is. I don't know if there's a system of internal audit, concurrent audit, external audit. But if you bring all of them together, I think this issue can be resolved. I don't think it's an insurmountable issue.
Sure. We absolutely believe so. We believe that it's eminently possible because We have in our midst people who have run very large corporations with revenues which are larger than what BBMP's revenues are as well. So one thing is, it's perplexing for us on how such a large organization still has not adopted even very basic practices that are involved in governance. But I guess we all know these.
Can I intervene for a minute? One of the things
Sure.
that struck me with great force, Srikanth, was that then, I don't know what it is now, BBMP did not have a technology policy. It did not use, although Bangalore is the home of IT in the country, BBMP was not using IT in order to enhance its administrative capacity, its process of review, its control mechanisms. Now, if we can do that, if we can bring IT to bear on all these things that you mentioned, automatically the finance function will improve. And so I would urge that this organization must have a coherent IT policy, just as much it must have a coherent HR policy.
Sure, absolutely relevant. In this day and age, with Bengaluru being the Silicon City, it will be criminal on the part of the people who are elected and people who are administering the city not to use technology and not to use technology as an enabler to deliver on very fundamental things that we are talking of here. So totally agree with you on that part. And the last question that I have is, broadly, you touched upon all these aspects and you did mention that we have to make sure that BBMP is not subservient to the state government. So the takeaway that we have from whatever you said, and we would like you to reconfirm or probably articulate further on that, is the solution to the city having an empowered local municipal body, that is BBMP in our case? Is a solution to the city having a mayor who is empowered, a corporator, or rather 198 or whatever number of corporators that we need to have who are held accountable at the ward level? Is that the way forward for the city? And is that the major aspect that we need to be pushing for? Any final thoughts on that? Then we'll leave it open for the rest of the people to ask it.
I think, Srikanth, the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments have been very well thought out and very well designed. Actually, they answer your question to the last point, which is that if you have proper organized leadership elected by the people, if they have the wherewithal in terms of resources, and if they are public interest oriented, then you don't have to see a low level of governance at all. But again, the key is that society must agree to repositioning local bodies and give them the same kind of status as state level bodies. When this does not happen, then lack of autonomy, lack of financial wherewithal cripples the functioning of the local body, along with lack of capacity. I would like to stress to all my friends present here today that in any organization, execution capacity is critical. By execution capacity, I mean planning, execution, review, change, and correction. That cycle in everything. And if we are able to do that, right from ensuring that the drains work, to the roads, to water supply, to electricity. Many years ago when I went around city rounds, I saw that 50% of the street lights were not working in some areas. And so I told the agency that was to do it, that if the street lights don't work from tomorrow, I will fine you 1,000 rupees a light. And sure enough, I did it. And others also joined in, and 95% of the lights were working. So I'm just saying that to drive home the point, not that I'm a great guy and all that, but just to say that if we really bring a lot of capacity to bear and push things to happen, this city will certainly improve, and it will improve dramatically in the short term. Srikanth?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I think definitely very, very useful inputs on that. And I already see some comments about your point on getting IT into BBMP, which is being sorely lacking. I think that's something that people seem to be appreciating as a very important input as well. So let me get on to the questions that people have been posing on the chat window. I'm not going to go in any particular order, but there is one question that caught my attention from Satya Prakash Varanashi. He's asked, so far we've been talking of what's been going wrong in BBMP. He's asked a question, any thoughts on what's good about BBMP that we can build upon? Is there anything that you can take on that?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Satya Prakash. Thank you. You know, there is a stereotype that everything is bad about BBMP, that nothing works, that all politicians in BBMP are useless. I would like to correct that and say, from my experience, I've had the privilege of seeing excellent corporators, excellent mayors. I mentioned a few names. I don't want to repeat all of that again. People in BBMP who have gone on to become MLAs, MLCs, ministers, who feel for the public and so on. So I would like to make a fervent appeal to the public, don't abuse the BBMP, because if you abuse it too much, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The people who are working in the system also feel we are useless, we can't do much. The average BBMP employee, I quote, the average BBMP employee is a good person. He or she wants to achieve a level of esteem. I ask a question to all the RWAs and others where I go to. How many of you know your local assistant engineer, your local health person, your local other people who work on the system? Very few people. So please get to know them, share their feelings, try to motivate them to work, and you will see that, you know, we can all bring about a change. Shrikant, there's another thing I want to mention, you know, and I will bring it out openly, that people only accuse the BBMP, accuse the officers, accuse the politicians. What about themselves? The major offenders in our city in terms of all building violations are the educated people in the city. And I don't want to go into it. I have lots of examples to give. Why do we egregiously violate all the laws of the city? Why can't we adhere to the norms so that we can be examples to others? So it takes two to clap, and I think to answer Satya, if we are able to realize what's good about the city, what's good about the people we work with, automatically things will show improvement. I'm an optimist, and that's why I say it. So thanks for the question.
Mr.
Jayaraj, this is Subbu Hegde. Just want to support what you said. If last 1.5 months, the way the BBMP has handled the lockdown situation or the COVID situation, I think there is a lot to speak good about it. The efficiency with which they have ensured the lockdown is amazing. I think the one perhaps thing that helped is all the corporators have been sidelined. Full power has been given to the BBMP officers. I think it has worked.
You're absolutely correct. And I think, Shrikant, we should now congratulate our mayor, Mr. Gautam, and our commissioner, Anil Kumar, for setting up that control room, for becoming so active. People, frontline BBMP people are working round the clock, I know this, and they are really trying to ensure that the city proofs itself against the virus. And I agree with the point made by Mr. Hegde that, you know, there's something to commend about, and we should not hesitate to do that. Shrikant?
Shrikant, before you continue, we see one video continuously being displayed. May we ask the person to switch off the
video? Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Shrikant? Shrikant? Okay. I don't think
Shrikant... I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, sir, I think the point that you touched upon is extremely important. Yeah, I think this is one thing that we've been telling people also. We can't be just taking a negative approach and just pointing fingers at others. As you rightly said, it takes two hands to clap. We believe any governance can be delivered only when the government and the citizens can collaborate and work together. So from that perspective, yes, we need to introspect on where we are going wrong as well and make sure that we are not following any of those bad practices and work locally with our people as well.
Yeah.
And even more importantly, I don't think just
Can you hear
one,
me?
we'll have to mute the person. Yeah. So effectively what we are saying here is where good work gets done, we have to support it, we have to appreciate it, and we have to give credit where it is due. And where things are going wrong, obviously that's where we have to get into bring about changes. So without any doubt, we fully appreciate that, and I think that's the ethos that we are building as well. Yeah, there have been some questions around how do we get the details of the local AE and all. In fact,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. No, carry on, sir.
Did you know that we have had excellent mayors in the past? There was a gentleman called Dr. Sheshadri. There was P.R. Ramesh. There was Mrs. Mumtaz Begum. There are others also who have done a lot of good work for the city. And it's important that we recognize all of them and, congratulate them for the work they have done. There is Mr. Ramling Reddy. There is Mr. Somanna. I can think of so many names, who are people who have worked for the city, worked hard. But somehow, in this entire criticism, everything is bad, we tend to put everybody in the same basket. Yeah. Any other questions?
Jairaj, hi, can I jump in? This is Priya here.
Yes, Priya, please.
Hi. So two things. I'd like to, in fact, build on what Satya had mentioned about, constantly jumping in to malign the BBMP. I think that will always be our favorite punching bag, and that can't change because there's so much which is wrong. But I wrote an interesting article which I shared on the chat, which is BBMP learns to dunzo. After I saw the quarter page ad, saying WhatsApp and we will send you the essential items. I thought in some ways that we somewhat undermine the sheer scale and gigantic sort of force of the bureaucracy, which can go across, multiples of people and states, and cities and whatever else to get results. We forget how much training has gone into making that possible. It somehow seems that it's only adversity that brings it out. And we have seen some great stuff happening in the last 1 month from various civic organizations and especially the BBMP. So having said that, and I'd really like, I'll send you the link to this article because I just wrote it off in a moment, and I thought to myself, I said, this also needs to be said. BBMP learns to dunzo. But coming to a specific issue, which is on, sorry, you were saying something.
No, go ahead. Please go ahead.
So on the issue of the heritage guidelines, I have two related questions. As you know, for the first time in for an age really, Satya's online, and Satya is with was the chair of convener of INTAC and has done an extraordinary amount of work to get to where we are today. But the heritage guidelines has been sort of buried under many mounds of paper for the last almost 12, 15 years, ever since the Bangalore Urban Arts Commission came up. And it is just been notified a few days ago, and I'm very concerned about how it's going to play out. But related to that, I want to ask you, Jairaj, how does this work? Is there really any ownership of the issue of heritage, for example, with BBMP, or is it just one more thing that needs to be? It's a bit of an irritation that needs to be brushed under the carpet. I just wanted your honest views on how is it positioned normally, and how do you think we can make a difference in positioning it today? What do we need to do as citizens?
To be honest, Priya, there is no real appreciation or concept of heritage that I know of within the BBA. And it's a sad story because we have so many wonderful remembrances of the past and durable structures that we are ignoring. And I think what you are doing is about the right way to go about, a mix of policy advocacy, going to the courts, trying to build up citizens' opinion. That is really the way to go forward. And finally, to have a strong heritage law that will protect the city from the depredations that we see. And already there have been good progress thanks to you and others, and I wish more power to you. My only claim to fame, Priya, as BMP commissioner is that I had the BBMP beautiful building acid washed after 70 years, and it acquired a new look.
That's being very humble and modest, sir. But we'll take it as a key achievement.
The building was
We
still
move on to a few of the. We have a few other questions. We'll quickly get on to them. Tahira Sood has a question. BBMP corporators seem to be paid a pittance. Given that it's such an important job and it's something which is so very critical for the city, why is it that the corporators get... Hello?
Yeah.
You're able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, there was some noise in the background. Why is it that the corporators are being paid such a low pittance that they're getting paid? To us, we believe that that's probably one of the key causes of the problems that we face. Why has it been designed that way? Can it change? Is Tahira Ingalji Sood's question.
I think that's a very good question, and somehow I didn't think of it in the past. I think today our corporators must be paid on par with what the legislators are paid, and they should receive the same kind of allowances. They must get the same kind of benefits as the legislators, because they are performing a very important duty, and it is worthwhile to keep them in proper office so that they can contribute to the good of the city. And so I really support that they should be paid at the level of the legislature.
There are Lalita here. ಒಂದು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಹೊಸ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬಂದು ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಜನ BBMP ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಹತ್ವ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಸುಧಾರಿಸುವುದು? ಈಗ ನಾವು ಜನಗಳ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಹೇಗೆ ಜನಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕರೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು?
ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. 2000 Am I audible? ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರ್?
ಹಾ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Yes, sir.
2000ಗೂ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು lot of civic consciousness exists. RWAs are there. Civic areas, civic participation and cooperation is very high. That, to my mind, is a very, very good way in which in which there will be greater interest in the city, and hopefully there will be better turnout in the election. ಹೋದ್ಸತಿ ಕೂಡ ನನ್ಗೇನ್ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟರ್ನ್ಔಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ. ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್. ಅವರು ಬೈತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೋಗಿ ವೋಟ್ ಹಾಕೋ ಒಂದು ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಡಿಸರ್ವ್. So if you want to change your government, you want better people, you have to take part in civic life. You have to look at the ward. You have to make sure that your vote is counted, and you must bring about the change that you want.
Thank you, sir. Extending one more question only. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಈ ಕೊರೋನಾ ವೈರಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಸಿ ವೈರಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡಿಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಇಟ್, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕಲಿ BBMP ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಒಂದು ಸಿ ವೈರಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಓಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು 2 ಸೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು?
Corruption ಅನ್ನ ಹೊಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ there should be proper adherence to process, and there should be proper adherence to standards. Process and standards ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅವಲಂಬಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ತಾನಾಗೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ 2000 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ತಂದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಟೆಂಡರ್ ಕರಿಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರೀ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ತರ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ BBMP ಅಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ಸ್, ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್, ರಿವ್ಯೂಸ್, ಪ್ರೀ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ರೆ ತಾನಾಗೆ ಈ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸಂಜಯ್ ಮೆಹರೋತ್ರ ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೌ ಡು ವಿ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್? ಇವು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಫೈನಲಿ the way to eliminate corruption is to have a motivated, competent person behind it. That's why I say that a good workforce, good HR policy, a proper capacity for BBMP, all these will converge to create a minimum corruption organization. And I am confident that it can happen if
Sir, may I have one question, sir? My name is Hari Krishna here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, we are very happy about the BBMP, but the thing is, whatever the work they have been taken for execution, they are not able to complete within the time frame. Every time, though in spite of having the manpower, they are not able to complete the manpower on time. I mean, the work, whatever the work execution they have been taking, why it's been delayed most of the time?
Hari Krishna, there is something called execution excellence. There must be the discipline of working. And you know,
Yes, sir.
for instance, if you take up a project, proper fronts must be there. There must be proper specifications. You must have a workforce that is organized. Resources must be available. And the leadership, you know, administrative leadership, technical leadership must ensure that milestones are achieved and work is done on time. It is not rocket science, I can assure you. It can be done. Even within the government, it has been done. It's only a question of resolve, and it's a question of execution. I can assure you that.
That's true, sir.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Sir, Jairaj ಅವರು ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಅನಂತ್ ಅಂತ ಫ್ರಮ್ ವೈಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಸರ್ ಏನಲ್ಲ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ಹೇಳಿ.
Hello, Anant. Anant,
Yes,
can
sir.
I suggest that? Sorry, I think quite a few people posing questions directly just causes a little bit of a confusion. There are a few people who still post their questions on the chat window. Let's finish that first, and then we'll come back to finally anybody else who has other questions as well.
Sorry, sir. Sure.
Please
Yeah,
bear with
thanks.
us. There is yeah. So I think there were 2 or 3 questions related to corruption. I think you've already answered that. Kalpana Sampath had a question. What measures can we take? And I'm not sure whether when she says we, whether we as a party or we as citizens, but broadly the question is what measures can we take to make BBMP more accessible and responsive to common man? How can we work collaboratively? And this touches upon the point that you made earlier also, that it takes 2 hands to clap. Any thoughts on how it can be made to work, this joint engagement between BBMP and citizens, and how can we make them more responsive to the citizens?
So, Srikanth, that is why this ward level engagement is very important. All citizens must think of ward level engagement. They must engage at the ward level with people who belong to the BBMP, the functionaries. They must know their corporator well. And once they do that, automatically there can be a build up towards making the BBMP responsive to the needs of the people, and to be, you know, it's a 2-way communication. So it is possible. And, you know, the citizens also must work hard and try to get it going. It cannot be a one-way street. That's what I want to say.
Sure, absolutely. And I think from our perspective, we will take it as a very, very important input, and also the chance to convey to everybody that the ward committee meetings are an important part or important and integral part of our local governance process. It's very, very important that more and more of us start taking part in those meetings, start asking our corporators the tough questions, the hard questions, the questions. And I guess governance pretty much starts from there.
One other point, Srikanth, if I may butt in for a moment.
So
Each
that's
ward,
one point
Srikanth,
we'll take back as a very important input from that I think we do as well. There is another question relating to the language part. In fact, you talked about the importance of Kannada, and we fully support that. I think being in Bengaluru, we do have to make sure that Kannada is given its not just its importance, but we have to make sure that we all start using Kannada a lot more. But I think there is one question that's come from Preeti, where she seems to be alluding to the fact that she's from North India, and when she's living in the city, somewhere when she interacts with the officials of agencies, she's made to feel like an outsider. You also earlier alluded to this whole divide that keeps getting created, and how we have to make sure that it doesn't get accentuated. Any thoughts on how do we bridge this gap between, let's say, various sections and various types of communities?
I would like to tell Preeti, if she is listening to this, that the average Kannadiga is very forthcoming, very generous, very hospitable. And the moment, Preeti, you make an attempt to try and speak in the language and try to reach, you will see a lot of reciprocation. The problem arises, and please forgive me if I say it, people who live here, people who make their life here, people are completely autonomous of Kannada, of our way of life, of our ethos, etc. And they kind of carve out a cocoon for themselves. And they really are a bad advertisement for people who come to this city. But those who really reach out and try to get the best of the local ethos, they are appreciated. So I would urge Preeti, try to get into the groove, try to speak a little bit, talk a little bit, and you will see that you will not feel left out and all. And that, goes for a general point, Shrikant, that to be inclusive is very important today, and not to have this we versus they, we are good, they are useless kind of feeling. And one other point, Shrikant, I want to mention regarding Kalpana's point, which is every ward, the Resident Welfare Association, the ward level committee must try to have a quarterly town hall meeting in which, issues presented to the ward can be discussed with the corporator, with the BWSSB, with the BMP, with the BESCOM, with the BMTC. And if, you can really have this kind of a forum, you will see that organizations will also come together at the ward level to try and resolve issues. This is a learning by doing. It is a process issue. There's no magic bullet. It can't happen in one shot, but there must be continuous attempt in making it better.
Very true, sir. We do agree with you, sir, in this issue.
Sir, absolutely. And in fact, that's what the next question that I was going to ask. There were a couple of questions relating to how can RWAs take part, and I think you pretty much answered it.
Yeah, Acharya.
Yeah.
Can I talk for?
Yeah, Ravi.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, just 1 minute, Ravi. We'll just finish. There were a couple of other questions that were there. We'll finish it, and then we'll come to people asking any final set of questions. There's one more question that has come on the chat window. I wanted to pose it to Mr. Jairaj. Specifically, given your experience, sir, the question from Muralidhar Rao is, even today, only a small percentage of property tax is collected. And he believes that it's largely because the whole thing is managed in-house rather than outsourcing to professional setups. We have seen that happen in the passport department, where TCS has been doing a lot of outsourced work for the government of India. That seems to have delivered good results. You yourself pioneered the concept of a public-private partnership in the Bangalore International Airport that you were one of the pioneers of. So in that context, does it make sense for BBMP to engage with more private sector agencies, public-private partnerships to make things more efficient, whether it's property tax collection or in other aspects of its operations?
Yes, I think, Shrikant, the answer to your question is the best and the most efficacious form of doing things is what the BBMP should adopt, subject to its own procedures and so on. So even if I were commissioner, I would do what is relevant and what is in the best interests of the organization. I wouldn't have this division between in-house and external things. I would do whatever is required to get my objectives fulfilled. So that's an administrative task.
Understand. I think that's a great answer. There is no right or wrong answer to it, but effectively what you're saying is one should be open to all possibilities depending on the context, whether it has to be done in-house or whether it has to be done in conjunction with a private sector agency. All possibilities should be explored and the right decision should be taken.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. That's very useful. Now, there were two people who were trying to get on to pose their questions. And we will take these last two questions. We're already past our scheduled time. So those last two questions we'll take. And if there are others who have their questions, we will probably ask them to just send us an email at info@namabmp.org, or we can ask Mr. Jairaj to host us, or rather we will host him for one more session where these questions will be asked. Anand, you had a question. Can you go?
Yeah. Thank you, Shrikant. Yeah, thank you, Srikanth. Yeah, Jairaj, I just have some few things what I was actually thinking of. Still today, we are talking about basic needs of drinking water, sewage, garbage management, basic infrastructure like roads, footpath. After the independence of 75 years of independence to this great country, we are still talking about this minimum basic amenities only. And apart from that, there are a couple of other things which I have noticed with my experience of 21 years in Bangalore. I have always seen BMTC bus stops which are located at the congestion points, just next to a U-turn or next to a turn or something like that. There are many places where I felt so that yeah, why had they put a BMTC bus stop at such kind of location which is going to cause congestion? That's one thing. And with these many years of experience here, I used to see that they lay the road, and after that, I don't think so that there is a proper coordination between BBMP, BWSSB, BESCOM. So somebody else will come again, dig the road, do their work, leave it just like that, and go off. And even till today, even if there is a street light which is not working in my layout or in my locality, I had to call the BBMP people to come and fix it. So there is a lot of technology. We are living in a city which is Silicon City. We have a lot of technology like Internet of Things and things like that, wherein which BBMP can have some dashboards. They can identify themselves about these kind of problems and they can address them. So there are many things like this which I don't think so that with this limited amount of time I can post all these questions whatever I have in my mind. And even from 2008 onwards, we are talking about BKata. I think it is 12 years or so. Still, there is no solution to it, and people are ending up paying a lot of bribes for constructing their houses, which is illegal in BKata property. So there are many things
Anand,
like this, sir.
Anand, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, Anand, sorry to interrupt. Can you get to the question? If you have a question, can you get to it straight to that?
No, I think
we already
basically,
running short of time.
yeah, sorry, I can understand that. So my basic question is, Srikanth, I'm just talking about this using of technology like IoT and things like that, and talking about the coordination between BBMP, BWSSB, and BESCOM. And other question is about BMTC, their bus stops and things like that. So these are some things and basic infrastructure. Yeah, so these are some basic things how we can actually improve on that.
Completely agree, Anand. There must be closure on all these issues, and citizens are harassed to such an extent when there are open matters like this BKata and all the proper positioning of BMTC bus stops, etc. What you have raised are all very valid issues, which just tells me that you solve one issue, other issue crops up, and the city requires a continuous mode of improvement with all the civic agencies getting together so that the problems of the common individuals can be solved. But thanks for raising that issue.
Yeah. We will take one last question from Ravi. He was trying to ask a question. So Ravi, can you pose your question? And with that,
Yeah, Jairaj, this is Ravi Acharya here.
We'll bring the session to a conclusion.
Hi, Ravi.
Hello.
Hi, Ravi.
Listen, the question that I have is, I've been attending the ward committee regularly for the last year and a half or so.
Yes,
and my issue is with the citizens, that most of us seem to be concerned with solving the personal problems of what is happening around our houses, like getting the water tap fixed or the light fixed or something. How do we get the citizens to look at the ward committee as the first thing of preparing a budget and forcing the corporator to look at the ward as a whole and not look at individual issues? How do we get the citizens to think on those lines? Because right now the citizens are going there with their individual grievances. We are not looking at the problems of the ward as a whole. How do we get them to do that?
That's a very good question to end on, Ravi, because I said, Ravi, that we require two hands to clap. I said, yes, the city bodies must improve, corruption must come down, leadership must do up. What about the reciprocal citizen responsibility? Going out to vote, being concerned about the community, not about ourselves, adhering to the law, making sure that there are no violations. I think what you have said is absolutely correct. And if the social capital can be built up, Srikanth, and if this social capital can go hand in hand with greater capacity in the civic body, resources and leadership, Bangalore will surely get the governance it deserves, and that it can get even in the short run. And more power to all of you. And thank you, Srikanth, for this wonderful opportunity to have interacted with so many friends who are all concerned about the well-being of Bangalore, and in particular, acknowledge my dear classmate and friend Ravi Acharya. Thank you,
Sir,
Srikanth.
we do thank you, sir, for your precious time with us, sir. We had a great time with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jayaraj.
Thank you, sir.
Happy to again have another
Thanks to all
chat
of you.
and interaction.
Catch up later. I'll call you later.
Absolutely. So, thanks to all of you who joined this conversation. It was really heartening to see so many people join. And thanks to you, sir, Mr. Jayaraj, for having heeded to our request to chat this session. We'll definitely come back to you with more such sessions and more such inputs from you. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Srikanth. I greatly enjoyed being with you, and it felt like things are going to improve soon. Namaskara.